All right. Well, we're not here, in fact, to have fun this evening. We're here to talk about something very serious. We'll have a little bit of fun on the way. We've had a bit of drama on the way in. A little bit of chaos from your crazy friends wandering around, shoving my cameraman about. Actually, no, it's true. It's actually because we are such a beautifully well-oiled machine, such a wonderful operation of the kind that only Republicans could put together. We can, in fact, share with you some of the lovely behavior of your fellow students towards innocent cameramen. Do we have that somewhere? Can we show that? Oh, there we go. Yeah. You see, it all happens very quickly.
USA! No Milo! No KKK! No fascist USA! No Milo! No KKK! No fascist USA! No Milo! No KKK! No fascist USA! No KKK! No fascist USA! No Milo! No KKK! No fascist USA!
Yes, I'm a menace now.
Milo? She doesn't even know my fucking name.
Hey, he's pushing me. Milo. What are you grabbing me for? Yo, why are you guys pushing me? Who's the one starting?
Just USA! No Milo! No KKK! No fascist USA! No Milo! No KKK! No fascist USA!
Get away from my back.
No Milo! No KKK! No fascist USA! No Milo! No KKK! No fascist USA! No Milo! No KKK! No fascist USA!
No KKK, no fascist USA! You guys are the real fascists!
USA! No Milo! No Milo! No KKK! No fascist USA! No Milo! No KKK! No fascist USA!
Pushing me
No
up!
Milo!
These people are assaulting people! What are you talking about?
No one's trying to do something. Just stop. Hey, man.
What are you talking about?
Why are you in our faces with
You're
the
assaulting people! You are assaulting people!
You're a Nazi!
I'm a Nazi now! Can you prove that? Do you know who I am? Fuck you know who I am! Do you know who I am? Fuck off! Do you know who I am? Give that shit! Is that all you guys got? You kick shit! Do we attack people? Fuck you think? Go home, Nazi scum! Go home, Nazi scum! I'm tired of being told by these fascists who to hate. You know what
Nazism has taken a very camp turn, if this is the face of...
That's the classic. That's the classic fascism. How is he not? How is he not? How is he not? Explain. He's a prejudiced racist. He's a prejudiced racist. How am I racist? Because I'm not white. Easy as that. Easy as that. You hear that? Because I am white, I am a racist. Look at the name of his tour. Who is he downgrading? This guy just discredited himself. Sorry, guys. How does racism comes from a position of power? Something called people don't have. Who disagrees with that? Who disagrees with that? Yeah, we'll catch you outside the university. We'll have a conversation about it there. Yeah, come to the hood. We'll catch you. I'll show you my face outside the university. How about we go fucking across the street? Let's go across the street and talk. You're a leftist ideologue. You don't care about facts. Yeah, you're a right. Don't care about you. You're a center-left liberal. You fucking idiot.
Well, if this is the face of neo-Nazism in America, Nazis got really gay. Good heavens, good heavens. Well, that's the standard of reasoned critique and grown-up debate that you can expect on American college campuses on the subject of race. I'm going to tell you this evening how this has happened, why it's happened, and more importantly, because I like to draw attention to villains, who did it. Now, first of all, we should talk a little bit about where we are. The land, Wisconsin, of cheese, alcohol, and clinically obese lesbians. They are. What's that, darling? Oh, he is. No, I know. He's been following me. He's been following me everywhere. He was in Iowa when I was in Iowa. Now he's here. I'm like, my God, please just get your own thing. But it's okay. Cheese, alcohol, and obese lesbians. 3 things that really I couldn't live without. Now my tour was planned. Using you. My tour was planned with such care by my staff that we're in Wisconsin and Minnesota in December. Trying to kill me. They should have brought me up in the 1 month a year the weather is better here. The problem with the Midwest isn't the cold or the dikes, however. It is the proximity to Canada. You're going to have to... I mean, you've done some of the work so far this evening to convince me that you're not something approaching Trudeauian cucks. By dint of geography. We'll work it out over the course of the evening. Of course, the real cucks are over at UW-Madison. Now, imagine how much worse it would have been if I'd shown up there. The only reason I didn't is I didn't want people to die. Triggering would register on the Richter scale. Well, of course you did. Because nobody cares. No, I came to you as a far more sound campus, partly because I wanted to celebrate the recount with you. Jill Stein's recount. It's sad, isn't it? They go through all of that name calling and safe space trigger warning crap and lying about people and all the media, academia, everybody, and they lose the election, and then suddenly, like a shaft of light in St. Peter's Basilica, down from the heavens comes the promise of hope in the form of Jill Stein. Opportunistic fuck. Who raises 2 million, no refunds, 2 million, like, overnight, I wonder from whom, to do a recount that in every state, Trump's gone up, you know, and not even up by satisfying numbers, up by like 20 or 316, you know, like, who gives a shit? You know, but no, you turned red, and congratulations, well done. And this in the face of much upheaval in your... Are we keeping you from something? Upheaval in your basketball program, for instance. They fired the coach this year after 11 seasons, which you might have imagined was thanks to poor performance, player academics, or clashing personality of the athletic director. But I am told that they've been thinking like Democrats. They think it's Russian hackers responsible for all the bad... No, isn't it amazing? Isn't it amazing? So you lose the election, and you sort of, you know, you kind of thrash around for a bit, and then you pick this guy that's been sort of selected as an advisor, and you call him a white supremacist and an anti-Semite, just desperately hoping that something, anything, will stick. And it doesn't. And, you know, they haven't learnt anything. They haven't learned that the name-calling doesn't work. They haven't learned anything from the election, just calling people racist and sexist and all this kind of stuff. It doesn't win them over. You need arguments. You need to persuade people, not bully them, and they haven't learned this. And so they go around looking for somebody to blame, whether it's Steve Bannon or whatever. And now they're coming for the conservative press. They're coming for good conservative press, like Breitbart. They're coming for places no one's ever heard of, like the Daily Wire. They're coming for... Stop it. I should stop, shouldn't I? It's like shooting a corpse. It's like sort of kicking a dead dog. No, I'm sure the money will run out soon. But, well, the Wilkes brothers have got no reason to keep writing the checks now. I wonder whether they realize how insane they sound. The media, I'm saying to you. the idea that you could start calling everybody white supremacists, anti-Semites, and sexist and racist, and, you know, even though like half of women voted for Trump, it's still sexism. You know, all this kind of stuff. And you look around for someone to blame, and you're like, I know, why don't we say the whole election was like Russian hackers or something? You know, the whole media has started to sound like InfoWars. And although I like Alex very much, I think he's wonderful, but it is amazing to sort of to hear CNN and MSNBC and, you know, all these other networks start to sound like InfoWars, and they don't realize they're burning the last vestiges of credibility. The last remaining slivers of credibility are completely going. Speaking of credibility, universities like to shred theirs by opening things like the Inclusive Excellence Center. You have an Inclusive Excellence Center, which you would imagine might mean something about, I don't know, you know, somebody who's good at lots of subjects, who becomes valedictorian for, you know, passing, you know, triple majoring in something. No. The Inclusive Excellence Center. They always sound so fucking sinister, don't they? These left-wing Orwellian things. They sort of, you know, you can imagine it sort of in a building next to the Ministry of Truth. And it would fit in, in ways that Orwell never imagined. Why? Because the purpose of the Inclusive Excellence Center is neither to include anyone nor be excellent at anything, but is instead to control the speech of students through hilarious efforts like the Just Words campaign. Have any of you fallen foul of the Just Words campaign? No, it is bullshit, you're right. Now, there are all sorts of words you're not supposed to say, and I'm going to be saying all of them in the course of this speech. This is all of them. This is a strategy designed to scare you, designed to make you fearful. It's like, you know, these are the words you're not allowed to say on pain of being some, you know, a hateful bigot who deserves to be, you know, thrown off a cliff or murdered or something. You know, these people don't learn. They don't learn. They've spent your money, your tuition fees, on a strategy designed to enforce politics through language, not realizing that it was precisely that. I mean, if they were clever, if they were smart, if they were paying attention, they would realize that it is entirely contrary to the human spirit to accept this sort of stuff. It is entirely contrary to human nature to allow your opinions, your thoughts, your aspirations, and your dreams, and your sense of humor to be shaped by people who want to allow you and disallow you various words. In fact, it produces a counter-revolution. It produces mischief and dissidence and subversion. It produces defiance. It produces Donald Trump. They did it. They created Daddy. And aren't we happy about it? They did it. I'll give you some examples from the Just Words campaign. Things you're not supposed to say. Right. Apparently, you can't say, "Are you deaf?" when someone doesn't hear you, because a deaf person might be offended. How? How would they know? I mean, I suppose in some bizarro parallel universe, they're kind of going around lip reading, looking to be offended by everyone. You know, some sort of orally challenged social justice warrior, just going around lip reading if anyone's saying, "Are you deaf?" and going, "Whoa!" Oh, a bit too much for some of you. A bit too much for some of you. You see, I just did what Donald Trump has never done: make fun of the disabled. Donald Trump never did it. He never did it. He does this for all sorts of stupid people. You remember that reporter who had some kind of awful condition, the poor lamb? You know, but Donald Trump does this for all kinds of stupidity. There are sort of 6 or 7 or 10 different videos of him doing this, and of course, you know, they never mention that, even though they know it. They sort of try to pretend that he was making fun of disabled people. No, this is what making fun of disabled people looks like, and it's funny. So, maybe not very presidential, but it's funny. No, so look. Ridiculous. How are they ever going to know? You're not supposed to say, "That's gay." Now, of course, they have correctly identified the one thing they get right, and this is something about progressives, you know, they get some right and then they sort of fail towards the end. They have correctly identified that the real meaning of gay is not sucks dick. The real meaning of gay is crap, rubbish, shit, lame, Hillary supporting, immigrant loving, Muslim pandering. That is the correct meaning of gay. When you say something like, "Oh my God, that's so fucking gay," what you mean is, it sucks. Now, they have correctly identified that bit. What they've failed to take into account, however, is that it is a really enjoyable way to tell people to go fuck themselves. And the more you tell people, look, I mean, I'm like an eternal 14-year-old. I'm basically 14. My whole life I will be 14 years old. But I am not unique in enjoying getting into trouble. I am not unique in enjoying mischief. I am not unique in defying the powers that be. In fact, most young people have a little dash of this in them. And when you tell them you can't do something, they want to do it. It makes them want to do it. There was a campaign in the UK to ban the word gay from the playground. And I was invited on TV with some thick-as-pig shit pop star to debate this. Will Young, you probably never heard of him. He's sort of our Rufus Wainwright, just as thick and totally devoid of talent, but popular because he smiles nicely. There was this campaign to rid the playground of the word gay. And I said, which I thought was perfectly reasonable, can you imagine if you were in the playground and your teacher said, don't say gay? What would you say for the next 4 years? You're like, gay, gay, gay. That might actually might actually cause a young gay person to feel uncomfortable when the whole school's saying it, and the whole school's saying it because they were told they can't. This is one of the many ways in progressives simply don't understand human nature at all. They don't get it. Of course, you can't say, according to the Just Words campaign, illegal alien. You can't say in many places in America, illegal alien. Because it might suggest, it might admit that America has a problem with illegals. They want to call it something, they want to call it undocumented immigration, like it's a clerical error, rather than a deliberate strategy by the Democrats to fuck the Republicans, rather than a deliberate plan to import millions of new voters, throw them on welfare, and thereby guarantee themselves the presidency for generations. Like it's not a deliberate effort to radically reshape what America looks like and how America votes. And they want you to call it undocumented immigration, like it's a fucking mistake with a paperclip. I think America knows better, and America voted accordingly at the last election to demonstrate that. I have gone through the interminable visa process to come into this country. You know, it's interesting. America is sort of seen as this great land of sort of freedom and the free market and all the rest of it. The one bit of America that is really, really fucking terrible, and I now finally understand, after having gone through the process of getting a visa to be here, and I wasn't allowed to talk about it while the application was still pending, because, you know, public employees can be so vindictive and bitter. I never understood just how shit your government is. Just how utterly useless the federal government is at absolutely everything. Everything. There are bits of it that work well. There are bits of it that you could be hugely proud of and grateful for. For instance, law enforcement. And we're going to get on to, in a minute, why you should be so grateful for the police and all of the great bravery that, you know, and acts of valor that they conduct on a daily basis whilst being slandered routinely, lied to and lied about all the time by the media. There are bits of it that work okay, and individuals who work really, really well. But has anyone in here ever been to the DMV? Has anyone in here ever been to the Social Security office? I mean, there's a reason Europeans are more relaxed with big government, because ours actually fucking works. Awful. Awful. I feel very sorry for you, and I hope that Donald Trump takes a scythe to large branches of the American government. I want to close the Department of Education and basically just shut most of the rest of it down. Sitting in that Social Security office, I felt like I needed a safe word, you know? It was that bad. My safe word is women can be funny. No, they can. I mean, I can't think of any examples, but I'm sure there is one. One of the words you shouldn't use, according to Just Words, is Nazi. You're not supposed to call people a Nazi, which is weird, because... Of course, as always, with progressive social justice warriors, feminists, Black Lives Matter, and all of their friends, it is one rule for the people in this room and one rule for everybody else. One final word I have to mention from Just Words, and it is man up. They don't like it when you say man up. Enforcing, what is it they call it, heteropatriarchal notions of toxic masculinity. Fuck off! God. Man up's a big no-no for liberals. They're intent on eliminating masculinity from culture. Toxic masculinity and rape culture are some other idiotic things they like to say in their war against men. Well, I'll tell you one UW Milwaukee student that does not need to man up. And that is Justine Kramer. Do you know about Justine Kramer? Have any of you come into contact with this person? This quote-unquote non-binary trans... You're not laughing now, are you? You already know him. Quote-unquote non-binary trans woman forced his way into the women's locker rooms this year. Who knows about this story? Any of you? So you don't even read your own student media. He got into the women's room the way liberals always operate, using the government and the courts to weasel their way where they don't belong. In this case, he made a Title IX complaint. Title IX is a set of rules to protect women on campus effectively. It's couched in the language of equality, but it's really about women, which under normal circumstances would be fine, except for how it's implemented. Now, it is used to put men into women's bathrooms. I have known some passing trannies in my life. Trannies, you're not allowed to say that either. I've known some passing trannies in my life, which is to say transgender people who pass as the gender they would like to be considered. Well, no. The way you know that he's failing is I'd almost still bang him. It's just a man in a dress, isn't it? I should reapply my lipstick, sorry. Tonight I'm here to talk, however, not about any individual students because it's mean. Or about the words you are and are not allowed to say, or any of the other various wonderful things that I was going to say about Wisconsin. I'm here to talk about a more serious subject. I'm here to talk about race. And specifically...